Hi everyone, gonna react to Nation's first video to this to the Gorilla Parkour. The first let's go to this one.
Hello, Internet! My name is Bryson, and welcome to my new channel. Please enjoy it. Okay, now get super pumped,
because it's going to be awesome. So, I thought I could kick off the channel by telling the first funny story. Okay, here goes. When I was 8 or 9 or 10 or 11,
however old I was, my mom decided to help one of her friends by babysitting her 39 children at our house. And to make it worse, one of the kids had a huge crush on me. She would follow me around and stuff, and I did not like her back. I tried to get away from her by going downstairs, but when I got down there, I saw all the children were down there, and they were trashing our freaking basement. One of them was literally taking board games off the shelf, one by one, and dumping them out! And that was only one of them. Goodness knows what the others were doing. I couldn't even handle it. I just went upstairs and told my mom. And my mom was all like, "Okay, everyone, we're going to the pool right now." She was probably just trying to reflect their destructiveness off our house and onto the neighborhood pool. It probably started from the people that were there, just like, having a nice time at the pool. When suddenly a literal wave of destructive little devil children smashes into the pool! Anyways, when we got there, I was just sitting in the shower and trying to recover from what just happened at the house when I turned and saw some smashes into the pool. Anyways, when we got there, I was just sitting in the shallow end trying to recover from what just happened at
Who's gonna have to clean the
house when I turned and saw her. She was staring into my soul. Then this girl says two words I will never forget. Octopus attack! What? No, really! Octopus attack! What is that? And then she started approaching. I tried to escape, but she saw and Spider-Man jumped out of the pool and latched onto me!
Oh my god.
Somebody, please help me! She dragged me to the bottom of the pool. I legit thought I was gonna die. Somehow I escaped. I'm not sure how, but there might have been elbows involved. And I got out of that pool right quick! And I hung out with my mom for the rest of the time. And we just sat there and watched as the children destroyed the pool. So you think my troubles are over with this girl yet? Nope, wrong. So as me and my mom were walking out, this girl comes up to my mom and says, "Hey, can you arrange a hangout between me and him?" I gave my mom that look. She received my message. "Oh, well, maybe some other time, we'll see." And that is the story of how my mother saved my life. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Welcome to the channel. And
hit that subscribe button.
Just flip and hit it. Okay, bye.
I'm good, no friend.
So I tried to prank bro with some game. He wouldn't expect what would happen.
Hey everybody, I've got another story for you. So when I lived in North Carolina, we had brick stairs leading up to our front door, and one of the bricks on the corner was missing. And every time you walked up to the porch, you would see that brick was missing. So my mom, after years of having to look at that stupid missing brick, she decided to replace it, which is actually way harder than it sounds because our house was old and they didn't make that kind of brick anymore. However, we had one more corner brick that didn't have holes in it that my mom could use to replace it. Anyways, the point is she spent a ton of time adding a brick to the stairs. We were going to go to the pool that day, so my mom left the sledgehammer that she had been using to chip off the old mortar so that she could put the new brick in, and she went inside and told me, my little brother, and his two friends to go outside to the car. We walked outside and I noticed the brick. I had been living in that house for years, and I was used to there being a brick missing. This new brick looked so strange to me, and I felt like it didn't belong. So the obvious next step in my stupid idiot little head was, That brick doesn't belong. I should smash it with this sledgehammer.
Okay.
So I completely destroyed it. Oh gosh, why? So then me, my brother, and his two friends got into the car. A little while later, my mom and dad walked out, and my mom saw that hours and hours of work and years of trying to find the right brick had just been destroyed.
Oh my god.
And let me just tell you something. Everyone has a scary parent. Most people say it's usually the dad, but oh no, definitely not. Had just been destroyed. And let me just tell you something. Everyone has a scary parent. Most people say it's usually the dad, but oh no, definitely not. My mom is horrifying when she's mad. My dad's not nearly as scary. So my mom was so mad, and she obviously knew that it was one of us four. She marched up to the car, sledgehammer in hand, whipped the car door open, and screamed, "Who smashed that brick?" And boom! Instant betrayal. All three of them turned and pointed to me.
Oh my god.
I remember thinking, this is the end. My mom, with fire in her eyes, screamed, "What were you thinking?" The only thing I could manage to say was, because the honest truth was I wasn't thinking at all, and I just sat there shaking like an idiot and waited for my approaching demise. My mom turned and chucked the sledgehammer across our entire yard and onto the neighbor's yard. Obviously, since I lived to make this video, you can tell that I wasn't destroyed that day. But it cost my mom a ton of work, and I still feel so bad about it. What was I thinking? Anyways, now years later, this is one of our favorite family stories, and me and my mom still laugh about it. Probably because at that moment, fueled with rage, my mom could have easily won the Highland Games, the way she caber-tossed that sledgehammer. Yeah, she's definitely the scary one. Sorry, Dad. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Hey guys, what you are about to hear is one of the most legendary camping stories in my family. Gather around. My family loves camping, and we had actually completely worn out our last camper. It was literally falling apart. One of the corners of the roof didn't work, and we held it up with a pole. There was duct tape all over the place, and most of the zippers were completely busted. We had finally gotten a new one, so we were really excited for its maiden voyage. So we loaded up the new camper with new sheets, new pillows, new blankets, and we were off. When not 2 turns later, we heard a big thump. We went out back, and our bike rack had fallen off the back of the camper. Not just the rack, but the whole back bumper fell off. We should have taken it as a bad omen, but nope. My parents went back to the house to get the necessary tools to fix the back bumper, and my oldest brother, Brody, thought he could help by throwing the bikes on top of the camper. When he did, one of the bike pedals punctured the roof of our brand new camper. What were you thinking, Brody? The brand new camper now had a busted back bumper and a nice big hole in the roof, and we hadn't even used it yet. We were literally 50 yards from our house. This is why we can't have nice things! Anyways, we all got back in the car and kept driving. We got there, set up, and had a ton of fun with our friends. A couple nights into the trip, we were all in our bed sleeping when I was woken up by our dog, Dixie, whining at the door. Brody assumed she had to go to the bathroom, so we opened the door and she ran out. Big mistake. The actual reason Dixie wanted to come out was because she heard something in the bushes. She snuck around the bushes when Dixie had been sprayed by a skunk. She came booking it back to the camper smelling like pure death. Like seriously, that's what I imagine death to smell like. Just imagine taking a sewage plant, rancid milk, and that one kid in your school that has only ever taken one shower in his entire life, and putting them in a blender. This was worse. It was what I imagined Satan would want in one of his scented candles. Just, ooh, storm of 1,000 skunk farts. My favorite. Ho-ho. She was whining and rubbing her face on everything. New sheets, destroyed. New pillows, destroyed. New blankets, destroyed. New camper, destroyed. Ugh! It even woke up my dad, who can sleep through anything. He said it was the first time a smell actually woke him up. After the shock started to wear off and the smell started to set in, my dad decided to take Dixie to the showers and try and get rid of the smell. I still remember him saying, "I'm pretty sure in the dad handbook it says if the family dog gets sprayed by a skunk, the dad has to take care of it." Those words have gone down in the family history books. This was one of those campgrounds that charged quarters to use showers. So my dad took a fistful of quarters and all the shampoo, yes, all of it, and gave Dixie like 20 showers. She was miserable, and I'm pretty sure he was too. Honestly, the showers hardly did anything. She still smelled crazy bad, and our entire camper that we had just bought 1 week ago now had a broken bumper, a big hole in the roof, and now it smelled like death. When we got home, we tried all of the skunk smell remedies that the internet could provide. We tried tomato juice, vinegar, some enzyme concoction, special shampoos, hydrogen peroxide, baking soda, vanilla extract, and on and on. But honestly, nothing worked but time. It was funny because for months after, we could tell exactly where the skunk hit Dixie. It was on the left side of her face and left leg. Yep, that is exactly where it smelled. Several months later, Dixie finally stopped smelling, and about 6 months later, our camper finally stopped smelling. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Dog got sprayed by a skunk, no biggie. Upside is, we learned clearly just how bad something could possibly smell, which is now how we gauge all future smells. Good to have perspective. Thank you so much for watching. Hello guys! If any of you have any siblings, then you will understand exactly what I'm about to talk about. Most of us have experienced being teased or egged on, and we know how aggravating it can get. I have 2 older brothers, Brody and Braden, and they knew exactly how to push my buttons. Like seriously, they had it down to a science on how to aggravate me. But 2 particular times have gone down in our family history. In these 2 instances, I became angrier than I have ever been before, and I went into a state which my brothers now call guerrilla parkour mode. Here are the 2 times I've ever gone into guerrilla parkour mode. Number 1. Okay, setting the scene, we were at the church setting up for the Pinewood Derby. For those of you who don't know, the Pinewood Derby is an event for Cub Scouts to race cars that they made down a track. My dad was in charge of the Pinewood Derby, so my family and I were there early setting up. A while after we got there, Braden and I had gotten bored and we were wandering around the church. Then Braden found a piece of plastic broken off from one of those slidey room dividers. He picked it up and started waving it around, and I was all like, "Whoa!" Now I'm sure you all know about this universal principle regarding children. There can be multiple things around them they don't care to play with, but when someone else begins to use them, their mind goes, "I gotta use that thing!" And then they will ask to use that item. This principle was at work inside my head at this moment. "Braden, let me see that thing!" "You can see it. You're looking at it right now. See?" "No, I meant..." The cycle of me wanting to see the thing and Braden continuing to tease me continued for about 20 minutes. The anger inside me was building to dangerously high levels, and all over a stupid piece of plastic that I probably wouldn't have cared about. "Braden, give me the thing now. It's my turn." "Okay, fine." Relief flooded over me as I reached out to take the thing. Then right as the piece of plastic was almost in my grasp, Braden pulled it away at the last second. Anger flooded my mind. I had entered what is now called guerrilla parkour mode for the first time. The anger exploded out of my body as I began to chase Braden down the hall at sonic speeds. Nothing would stop me. I was willing to do anything to catch Braden. Braden could see this, and he ran as fast as he could away from the beast that was me. I chased him into the gym where multiple tables were set up for the Pinewood Derby. I ran in and slipped on the ground, but I got up and kept chasing in my crazed rage. Braden slid over the first table. Then little 4-foot Bryson, filled with raw, angry, cosmic power, straight up hurtled over that same table. I was gaining, and Braden began to fear for his life. Another table was slid over, then hurtled. I drew closer to Braden. He was headed toward a table right in front of a door for his escape. He slid over, and I attempted my final hurdle, only to have my foot catch on the table and slingshot my face into the carpet. But I wasn't finished yet. I flew out the door and rocketed down the hallway in my pursuit. 10 feet away. 5, 2, 1! And at that very moment, my energy left me and I couldn't keep up. I had exited guerrilla parkour mode, and Braden's life was no longer in jeopardy. I fell to the ground exhausted. But hey, after that, he let me hold the thing. Totally worth it. Okay, now for the second time I've ever entered guerrilla parkour mode. This time was triggered by my oldest brother, Brody. Me and him were playing tag on a playground. Because Brody was a much bigger child than me, he still is, but I mean, whatever. He was able to avoid me in most all my efforts to tag him. After a few minutes, I was finally able to tag him. Ha! Tag, you're it! Nope, you didn't say the magic word. What's the magic? Gotta catch me again to find out! As I'm sure you can predict, this cycle continued for around 20 more minutes. I'd managed to tag him, and then he would add more magic words. At this point, Brody had begun a cycle. He would run up the stairs and wait, then I would come up the stairs, and he would go down the slide and wait. Then I would go down the slide, and he would run up the stairs. This continued for some time. The rage began to build inside me once again. The beast inside was about to come out. The magic words at that time were poop, butt, and fart. As you can see, Brody was very creative in his magic word creation process. I ran up to the top of the playground only to see Brody go down the slide again for the 5th time. I had had it. Nothing would stop me from tagging Brody at this point. I had entered Gorilla Parkour mode once again. In my rage, I hurled myself off the 10-foot playground, and when I hit the ground, I flattened like a ragdoll. But that wouldn't stop me from catching Brody. I immediately sprung up in combat position, ready for pursuit. My body crunch on the ground was very amusing to Brody, and he fell to the ground laughing. No chasing was needed for catching my victim this time, as he was on the ground laughing, completely helpless. I shot over to him and tagged him. The magic words are poop, butt, and fart! You are it! I had done it! I tagged him! But then I got caught 2 minutes later. Anyways, now I know you all must be thinking, wow, Bryson, your brothers are total jerkwads. But you're wrong. They have actually gained a respect for me, and I for them. We all love each other, but don't get me wrong. Their fear of Gorilla Parkour mode is definitely a factor in this said respect. I have not entered Gorilla Parkour mode in years, but it is still a possibility. The moral of the story is, don't tease your younger siblings too much, or the same raw, angry cosmic power may be turned against you, as it was on my older brothers. Be careful out there, everyone. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hey guys, so this is my first end card, and I just wanted to let you know that I have no other social media other than YouTube, so be sure to subscribe to see when any content comes out.